everybody, and welcome to episode 25.5 of my Stellaris Ancient Relics Let's Play. So, the reason why I'm doing episode 25.5 rather than immediately jumping into episode 26 is that I kind of want to give you guys a brief overview of what's changed, because you see, I've done a bunch of stuff off camera just since what was going on at the time was kind of boring. I did a lot of stuff off camera, and I'm just sort of going to go over the major things that have happened, because there's a lot of minor stuff that I can't be bothered to mention, minus a few things. Well, first of all, you should know the Lenara down here decided to be assholes to us. They have, number one, broken their research agreement, and commercial pact with us. Number two, declared us their rivals, so we've returned the favor. I probably won't be expanding in their direction for a little while, though, because we're still relatively equivalent in terms of power, and they're also members of a federation. Even if most of their Federation members are on the literal other end of the galaxy and wouldn't be able to intervene, I'd like to be able to declare a subjugation war if I want to attack them. And I can't. That's the first thing. Second is the fact that that hive mind that existed over here, they no longer exist. I'm honestly not sure what happened, but at some point I just got one of those events announcing the end of an empire, and all of their territory immediately became unclaimed. I don't know what happened, but they just ceased to exist. Yet they weren't at war with anyone at the time, as no one claimed any of the space immediately. It's really weird, and I never understand what happens when that happens. That sort of thing happens. So, as you can see, immediately following that, most of the space they used to rule over was basically taken over by the Terran Republic. Our Defense Pact friends up there, the High Kingdom, as well as the Lenara, got a teensy tiny little bit of it, but not much. Other than that, the Lahoyang Ravagers here have been slowly but steadily getting om-nom-nommed out of existence by the bonded merchants. And we're not gonna miss them in the slightest, honestly. That's really all of the foreign affairs things that need to be mentioned. Next, we move on to internal matters. For I have unlocked a very large selection of technologies. I can't even remember what all of them were, so I'll just scroll down a bunch until we find one that I know we had before. I don't actually remember. The last one we picked up before stopping, I think was somewhere around there, so I'm not entirely sure. So we've gotten our hands on advanced research complexes, plasma throwers, shield capacitors, planetary shield generators, research station output level 4, chemical plants, X-ray lasers, hyper shields, level 2 point defense, colony speed plus 50%, 0-point reactors, plasma accelerators, particle lances, experimental subspace navigation, ion disruptors, more survey speed that doesn't matter because basically the whole galaxy's been surveyed, proton launchers, phase disruptors, hyperdrive 2, arc emitters, wormhole travel, plasma cannon, subspace sensors, hyperdrive 3, more research station output, and research institute for the physics end of things. Now over to society. And again, it's going to be a while because we've picked up quite a few techs. let's see. I think it was somewhere around, yeah, it was either Gene Warrior Armor, Gene Warrior Armies, or Deep Black Sites, I think were the last tech we got. So we picked up, in the meantime, ecological adaptation, more lifespan for our leaders, fortresses, ability to clear dangerous wildlife, climate restoration, hop growth speed, starbase capacity, ability to clear toxic kelp, leader enhancement selected lineages, so we can have a special policy, more leader lifespan, but they cost more leader level cap, monthly unity up from psionic theory, eco simulation, food from farmers up, and the ability to do farming subsidies, fleet command limit, naval capacity, clearing volcanoes, Ministry of Production, basically a very good building that increases the output of our specialists by a lot. Ability to clear dense jungles, resources from jobs up 5%, another gene modification point, nutrient replication. I finally got that one off the list, which results in 15% more food from jobs, paradise domes, ability to clear mountains, chemical bliss and living standards, atmospheric filtration for more habitability, food processing facilities, 15% more food and another farmer job, food processing centers, 25% more food, upgrade from facilities, and 2 farmer jobs, but it costs volatile modes and upkeep, plus 20% society research from researchers, unlocked system capital complexes for a lot of jobs and housing and amenities, and I'm pretty sure this is also as high as government capital buildings on planets can go. Amoeba flagella, just to sort of get it the hell out of the way. Command centers. More fire rate on allied ships on our star bases. Clone armies. More naval capacity. Decreased leader upkeep. Increased leader level cap. We can get rid of some minor artifacts in order to get some research boost. More habitability. Now over to engineering. I did warn you this is basically going to be a whistle-stop tour, so I'm doing just that. Let's see here. It was, I think, it would have been either habitat, more housing, or plasteel armor was the last thing we got. It was either housing or plasteel armor were the last ones we researched before I stopped. I'm not sure which. So we've got plasteel armor, Therian power plant, exotic gas refinery, improved strikecraft, level dos. Actually, you know, I think we may have gotten improved strikecraft. I'm not sure. Anyways, civilian fabricators, more minerals from miners, antimatter missiles, more output from our mining stations, corvette hull points, robotic assault armies, and droid workers. Our robots can now do some more complex jobs, more mining station output, gas extraction wells, and we can exploit exotic gases in space, alloy megaforges. Takes some volatile modes, but we can now actually get the bigger, better alloy foundries, more engineering research from researchers, even more mining station output, advanced strikecraft, production targets, and mineral purification plants, basically more minerals from miners, cruiser cost and build speed. And here's the big one for what we've got so far. One of the big ones anyways. Battleships. We have battleships now. So I will actually be taking the time to go over our battleship designs. That's going to be important, I think. mineral purification hubs, so even more boost to our mineral income from miners. Finally, citadels. Basically, really big and powerful star bases that we can use for defense stations, as well as you need to upgrade them to citadels to get the final slot in the, let's see, in the buildings, yeah. The final building slot, you need it to be a citadel to get. Next, we have more planet build speed, ion thrusters, battleship build speed and cost, destroyer build speed and cost, plasma thrusters, robot modification, quantum missiles, battleship hull points, minerals from miners, advanced railguns, more minerals from miners, marauder missiles, flak cannons, Gauss cannons, and flak artillery. That's it for the techs that we picked up. Next, let's pop over into traditions and show you what we've got there. Because in addition to... because we've now filled out the expansion, supremacy, prosperity, and harmony trees entirely, and I'm about to fill out domination. So just to remind you, we have, as our ascension perks, Interstellar Dominion, Executive Vigor, Engineered Evolution, which is the reason why we have super soldiers. And for the final ascension perk, I went for Archaeology Project so that I'd be able to make myself an ecumenopolis once I had a world that qualified. And as you can see, we did that. We'll get into that in a second. Let's go over into the Sol system. Look over here at Mars. You'll notice the planet is looking a little bit greener than it usually does. When we ended last, I had begun the process of terraforming Mars. As you can well see, it has finished. Mars is now a continental world. It has 20 pops on it. And it's sort of just being a jack of all trades sort of place at the moment. But after Mars, the other thing I just want to show you is, as you can see, we've been building a lot of habitats to populate with population. And that's been how I've been making up for the fact that we don't have any more planets it's possible to colonize in my space. I've just been building habitats and colonizing them. I currently have 3 habitats, and over here in this system, the Rixosanen system, we have our construction ship in the process of building another habitat, which takes a very long time to finish a habitat. So he's going to be there for a while. Next, well, I'm going to hold off on the Ecumenopolis for now. The next thing I want to show you is my government, because there's been a few changes here too. First is the fact that we have a different leader, High King Agrippa I. Agrippa Autumnstar, rather. Our High Queen, Fausta Autumnstar, died at the age of 155. And in the actual lore slash role-playing slash narrative of this series, she was basically the greatest High Queen we ever had, because not only did she finish off the Eprian Corporation and effectively cripple the Psychonid hegemony, but she also oversaw the largest technological and military expansion in our empire's history, and kept the gung-ho nobles from starting a war with the Lenara that wouldn't have gone too well for us. And maintained our defensive pact with the Atto. So yes, we're going to say she's basically the greatest ruler we ever had. And in addition to the fact we have another ruler who, he is 138 now, and she just died like literally today in game terms. So obviously not her son, because there's no way you can, or at least, wait a second, let me think here. So I would think it would be unlikely that her son would be only 20 years younger than her, but depends. But my narrative role-playing explanation for that is that this guy is actually her cousin. And he's not actually High King, he's Regent, because our Crown Prince Tiberius here, he is only 19, so it's likely to take over pretty soon, and he will be the leader that's going to be in charge for a good long time. So my explanation for this whole thing is that Agrippa here is the regent because actually being in charge of an empire, he hasn't actually finished his education yet. So until he does that, this guy's in charge. That and the fact that the nobles wanted an elder statesman in charge for a little while for some reason or other. So Tiberius is actually Fausta Autumnstar's great-grandson, is the explanation I'm going with. In addition to that, I also just sort of went all the way with the feudal empire thing, because I got a chance to pick a third civic, and the one I went for was aristocratic elite. So our governors have more level cap, and some of our administrator jobs have been replaced with nobles. And now we can construct more noble estates that add more of these jobs. So we can have more nobles. And just start establishing members of the nobility, which is going to be kind of cool. That, other than just like some generic what I built on what planets things, that's really everything, because we have a couple of fortress worlds that I threw down just to boost my naval capacity. And I now have 2 agri-worlds with Elysium and Neratum, which they have essentially just food-producing worlds, with a few small exceptions, like a couple of research places over on Elysium, and some gas refineries and commercial zones and such on... no, wrong place. And some synthetic crystal plants and resource silos and stuff on Neratum. Other than that, just food-producing places. And Illyria has a tech world, like I said. We just use that literally just to do research things, which is kind of cool. As you can see, we have Nova Serica here, which I had originally wanted to make it into an ecumenopolis, but I wasn't able to, because at the time I didn't have the technology to clear all the blockers. But speaking of ecumenopolises, or ecumenopoli, I'm not really sure how you say it, it's time to address the elephant in the room over here with Aurora. I present to you, everyone, our first ecumenopolis. The colony of Aurora over in the Barnard star system. Formerly Colonia Aurora before I renamed it, because why the hell not? This is currently the most populous planet in our entire empire. Aurora actually has more pops settled on it than our capital. Although our industrial world over in Tritonus, that's providing most of my consumer goods, is a close second, actually, so... Yes, Tritonus is pretty close, but Aurora does have the advantage of being an ecumenopolis, and it has 100% habitability, and 20% more resources from jobs, as well as 50% bonus to pop growth, which is kind of epic. The planet has an asteroid belt, meaning it might have made a decent mining world, but I decided to make it a forge world to produce materials for our war machine. We have, as you can see, 2 alloy megaforges, a bunch of resident arcologies, and a bunch of founder arcologies, and this is a good time to talk about the ecumenopolis and just sort of give you a quick explanation of what's what, just in case you're someone who's not quite clear on this. To make a planet an ecumenopolis, every district on it has to be a city district, and it has to have all its blockers removed. In addition to that, you also have to have 20,000 minerals, at which point you can enact a special decision, which will add something to the building queue to start turning it into an ecumenopolis. And it takes 10 years to finish, but at the end of that, the entire planet becomes a city. You get access to some unique districts. There are the foundry arcologies, which are the only ones I've been building so far. And each one gives you 10 metallurgist jobs, which is absolutely freaking epic. 10 people start producing alloys. That will also drain your minerals some more though, so be careful. Then there's the industrial arcology, which gets more consumer goods. And leisure arcology is just amenities. So, that is our ecumenopolis, and it's kind of awesome, but there's one other thing I want to mention that I just find so amusing because of the way it unfolded. An event that I got on Mars after I colonized it. If you played Stellaris, then you know the one. It's that event you get where you find a portal on the planet. I found it on Mars after colonizing it. And once I investigated the portal, it was found that it's led to a dimension of pain and suffering. Are you getting the reference yet? If not, allow me to spell it out for you. I found a portal to hell on Mars. And we currently have, if I can find them, a dimensional portal researcher whose job it is to study the portal to hell. Yes, I have a portal to hell. Right on Mars. Very subtle game. That is most definitely a Doom reference, if I ever did see one. And that is just so fucking hilarious. But But the final thing worth mentioning, and this will lead into the start of next time, that is that we're getting ready to take on the Ether Drake, which is right here in this system. I'll be dealing with it shortly. Its strength is a skull, but I have about 60,000 fleet strength, sitting right there. But before I do that, let's have a little word with the curators. I know that they can give us some information on this. Tell us about the Ether Drake. Its species is ill-suited to life in our universe. The last dragon is strong, but not invincible. What is it really? By all accounts, the Ether Drakes predate all galactic civilization. There once were multitudes, but their race has been wasting away for eons. They're ill-suited to life here and now. Something about the physical laws of the universe do not agree with them. Like they evolved in another reality. They did, in fact. I believe that they are but the last dregs of a universe that ended before ours began. Sole survivors of some big crunch. The dragon not far from here is the last of its kind in the galaxy, perhaps the universe. Just out of curiosity, tell me, how would our current fleet fare against it in battle? Yours is a mighty fleet compared to some of the greatest armadas recorded in the annals of the Curator Order. Victory is certainly within your reach. That's good to know, but I'm not sending my 10,000 strength fleet that we've been building up off to do that. And I will, in fact, spend a little bit of energy in getting ourselves a 25% damage bonus against it. Its scales respond to percussive rhythms. To be more precise, certain frequencies have a relaxing effect on the subdermal musculature, controlling the positioning and shock absorption of their scale plates. A reflex that once played a key role in Ether Drake social interactions, and is now a clear and obvious weakness. Adjusting the firing pattern of your vessels according to a particular rhythm will greatly increase the damage you can inflict on the last dragon, who's never meant for our age. Put it out of its misery. Okay. And I'm actually going to conclude in this episode me killing it. So, it's going to be what happens now. This thing will die. And then move on to whatever's next.
Fleet action underway.
And there we are. Mr. Drakey Poo does not appreciate us coming to say hi. That's unfortunate. It really is. And there's our first casualty. Or at least the first one that's notable. And its armor is down. So now we can just chew through the hull, in inverted commas, of this thing. Not to mention just the fact that of how many corvettes that I have in my forces. It can't even come close to hitting them because I very much doubt this creature has the tracking it needs to be able to bring down our smaller ships. So that gives us an advantage. Even if it can probably knock out some of our destroyers and possibly cruisers. We have so many smaller ships that it's not going to be able to make a significant dent in us. It's really not. It's nearly down. Yes. He's been killed. And what did our casualties look like in that? Show me that again. Okay, we lost 2 destroyers and 1 cruiser. Considering what we're going up against, that's shockingly light casualties. Much lighter than I ever thought we could get. So now all our fleets can go home. A formidable Ether Drake has been slain. The exceptional bravery of the Classes 1 will not soon be forgotten. A planetoid beast guarded so jealously can now be safely exploited. Who knows what treasures the creature might have amassed over the eons. Gained 300 influence and the Ether Drake trophy, as well as the Dragon Slayer monument is added to Terra. What is that? Dragon Slayer monument. Is that a job, or what? That's what I want to know. Is Dragon Slayer monument, does that give us a job? That's the first thing I want to know. What does the trophy do? Passive effects, it increases our unity, and activating it will give us 10% more happiness for a while. Now those fleets can go home. That one can start getting some reinforcements to go. Now though, we can pull one of our fleets off of doing assist research to go and survey the system. And see what there is to be found. But now, while that's going on, let me just take the chance to show you my current research. Because we are currently researching Titans as it happens. And I'm planning on, once my fleet gets big enough, I'm going to add the Lenara to the list of people I want to attack. As I said, took a few losses there, but we will be at full strength in no time, since it was only 3 ships we lost. But I do have to finish that habitat. Still, epic fights are epic, and can't get any more epic than bringing down a dragon in fucking space. You really cannot. wait for it to hit the start of 2392. And then I will pause the video. And at that point, that'll be enough for episode 25.5, and I'll save any further continuation for episode 26. Possibly the live stream, I have not fully decided how I'm going to do that one, honestly. Over to Nova Serica to do some of the jobs they're currently needing some help with. The ones being added in by the city districts. Also, one last city district to go, and then I'll be able to turn Nova Serica into an ecumenopolis as soon as I have the minerals. Because I still need 20,000 to manage that. Just to remind you guys. I do still need that. And yes, Aurora, you can have another founder arcology. Scythia, unnamed Pop, you can also move to Aurora, yes. Therefore, work in the foundries and not upset my energy income too much. I don't mind. And just look at how fast these jumps are. It's like 6 days to move from one system to another. It wasn't that long ago when...
Construction complete.
Making... Hold on. One of our scientists just croaked. Actually, 2 of them have. I suppose it's time for us to move on to another generation of leaders. We have had a lot of these for a very long time, as the average lifespan of my leaders is about 150 years. So, I suppose that makes sense. Now, everyone can reposition themselves and all that jazz. Get yourself a mining district on Mars, please. Because I need you to have some jobs right now. You have a hydroponics farm, please. That way we can grow more food, and when I'm growing a stupid amount of it again, I can sell more of it. Which is probably stupid since it would crash my economy, but I just don't give a fuck. Wait, why am I building a civilian fabricator on Tritonus when I have 59 civilian in industry at the moment? It doesn't make any sense. Building a another mining district over on Valen. And then move these 2 pops to Valen. That makes much more sense. There. Problem solved. At least for the moment. Not forever, obviously, because things are kind of going to get fucked at some point. Not that they aren't already. They're fucked by virtue of the fact that there isn't anyone I can actually legitimately declare war on. Without it turning into a grinding battle of attrition, as every bloody war so far has. Which is the reason why I've been so damn peaceful so far. Not too happy about that. And that's why I've cut out so much of me actually playing through the game. Because I'm not actually very good at thinking of things to talk about while we are not doing interesting things like waging war and all. Anyways, I'm gonna cut this here. So, this has been episode 25.5, and join me next time for either the stream or episode 26, depending on how I decide to do this. See you then, folks. See you then.